Hello, Linda Cox here. Now that we've started to build the list, the next step is organization. Alicia Campbell has given us 2 examples of how to organize our lists. Decide which one looks best for you.
So I am going to share with you guys a system that has worked really well for me. So in the past, I've had issues like, oh, when did I say I was going to contact them? Or did I contact them? Or what did I do? Or what did we talk about? This is a really easy way to keep track of all those people that over time, like think of all the people that you've talked to in the past year. It's a lot probably. And you probably, if you were like me, you lost track of a lot of them. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've used and see what you think. It's highly customizable. And I kept it really simple. It's not real pretty because I want to prove a point. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just don't spend a lot of time creating it. Just start getting to work. So I'm going to show you how this works. So I call this like my connection system. And there's 2 parts to it. One is this index card holder. I'm going to go over that. And I call this my connection cards. Then with it, I have a binder. And I call this my connection binder. It's got my connection notes. So the 2 of these, they work together to create the system. So let me show you first these index cards. So I have this index card holder. I think I got this for like, it was on clearance at Walmart for like $2.50. In the back of it, I don't know if you can see, I have a ton of index cards that are blank. Grab a bunch because you're going to need a bunch over time. So I just have this tucked into the back. Also in here, I have, so to create this, I have tabs for each month. So I have January, February, March. Can you guys all see that okay? I hope so. And I kept it simple. I didn't try to make these super fancy for you guys. What I did was I took an index card, kind of turned it sideways, cut off the bottom a little bit so it wasn't too tall, made 12 of these, 1 for each month, and stuck them in here. Behind each month tab are 4 sections, 1 for each week. So this is first week of January, second week of January, third week of January, fourth week of January, and then we have end of February. Okay. I used these index cards. You don't have to get that fancy. When I first used these, I just took more index cards and I just put a number 1 for the first week and then a number 2 for the second. So you don't have to get super fancy. So this is the way I keep track of when I need to call somebody. January's done. I just take January and I tuck it behind. The last thing I want to say is there's actually 13 tabs. The last one is later. So if they're a not yet, they're not ready to move forward yet, but you don't want to lose track of them. I've even got a spot for those not yet. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works in a second. The other part of my system is the binder. The binder's super simple. I have a motivational quote, kind of helps me when I'm doing my chicken list. And then I have these pocket tabs. I think there's about 5 pocket tabs in here. Again, you don't have to get fancy. You could even have a piece of paper with Post-it notes for your different sections. So my different sections are leads, customers, brand partners, scripts, like if I want to put down scripts or notes or whatever, and then not yet. So same as my later file section here, I also have a not yet, so for notes. So this keeps track of the people I'm going to call. This keeps track of the notes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works. So to get started, the first thing you do is before you think about your leads, think about your brand partners, think about the customers you've already invited and who are already using the patches, right? We want to make sure that we are always contacting them, that they're always on a schedule to call. So I have an example. So I'm going to make my brand partners, okay? And the first one I'm going to make is for Barbara Forget. So here's my index card. It just has her name, address, phone number, right? And then over here, it's pretty simple. There's letters on every single one of my index cards. It's leads, customers, brand partners, and for not yet. I don't know if you guys can see that. So this is Barbara. She's already a brand partner. I told you I was going to start with my brand partners. I circled the B. That will remind me that she's a brand partner. And it will also tell me that her notes are in the brand partner section of my binder. Okay. So along with this card, I'm also going to create her connection note paper. So this is this note piece of paper I might have for years, right? So I create one. And the first thing I do is it looks a lot like the index card. Name, address, phone number. She's a brand partner. And then I put notes like, what are her kids' names? What are the challenges that she's facing with her health? What day did she become a brand partner? Just whatever kind of notes you want to keep. I also keep notes in chronological order when I talk to her in a follow-up. So I'm going to show you that. So wherever your brand partner, create an index card and create their notes. These notes are going to be with you a long time. Index cards are going to be with you a long time too. So since I've already created her, I'm not just going to file her away. I'm going to show you how to use it. So I'm going to pretend like I called her. I talked to her today. So I got out my pen, wrote a little note, said, talk to Barbara. She's sleeping much better. Awesome. And when I talked to her, I said, hey, I'm going to call you in a couple of weeks. See how you're doing. See how your energy's doing. Well, 2 weeks from now is the second week in February. So I've got my index cards here. Second week in February, right? I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to drop that card in the second week of February. Done. So you can imagine if I have 40 or 50 people I'm trying to contact, this is going to be filled with 40 or 50 different cards, and they're all going to be in different months and different weeks. So I said I was going to call her second week of February. And her little note that I can keep forever about her is in brand partners in my little binder. Okay. So in a couple weeks, I pull it out. I say, oh, it's now the second week of February, right? Say I have 10 cards in here for the week. The first one I pull out is Barbara. I'm going to give her a call in her little notes section. If she's feeling better or whatever, I'm going to date it and I'm going to put a little note in the binder. And then I'm going to file this again. Maybe I decided that I'm going to call her next time the first week in March. So go to March, my little thing, first week, drop it in. So do that for all of your brand partners and your customers first. And then you'll never have to say, did I call them or when was I going to call them? Because you have it here. And it's in this little file folder that you can take wherever and it can just sit on your desk. You don't have to try to remember it. It's just there. Okay, so now when you're all done, you need to take care of your leads, right? So your leads, I use my binder. I made a binder just for you guys for the presentation. And the first section is always a brain dump. So here I always have pieces of paper, and over time, you're going to have lots of pages, right? And it's everybody that might be interested, might not. You don't really worry about that. It's just whenever somebody comes to mind, you write them down on this list, and it just grows. Now, when I decide I'm going to put them on, maybe you start with 20 people you put on your list. You probably already have a list. The first 20 people, make index cards and make a notes paper for them, and then check them off. So like, for instance, Mary, she's on my chicken list, but I'm going to go ahead and start rotating her into my contacts. So Mary, I created an index card and a note for her. So here's Mary's note card. Name, address, or name, phone number, and email address. That's the only real thing I put on here. You could put pencil, you could put whatever you want. This is yours. But for me, I put all my notes in the binder. I don't worry about this card. And then L for lead. She became a brand partner, and I'll file her paper notes in the leads section. If she becomes a brand partner later, I'll circle B through the progression, and I'll put her in my brand partners section of my binder. So here's Mary. I just made a card for her. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to call her today. So I call Mary. I created her little contact list, right? And I call Mary and I say, hey, Mary, do you want to go to a patching party? Maybe it's on February 2nd or February 10th. And she says yes. So I'm going to write that down on her piece of paper. Invited her to a patching party on February 2nd, and she said yes. And I'm going to put that on there. Now, Mary, I want to remember that I need to call her and remind her, right? So hold on a second. I'm working on a little table here. So I already created a note for her, for you guys. She's in my lead section. It says, I called her. She said yes. So I need to contact Mary maybe on the 9th. So I do a couple different things. What I didn't tell you is I also keep Post-it notes in my index card binders here, right? So I'm not just, there's like a special day that I need to call her, not just the second week in February, which is when the 9th is. I want to call her on the 9th to remind her of the party. So I stick a note on here. You could also write it in pencil and erase it later. But I say 2/9/25 party. I stick it in the second week of February, right? Second week of February. When I look at it on Monday, it's there and I'll call her. I always review my notes binder before I call somebody. Refresh my memory, why I'm calling them, what our last conversation was, things like that. You'll end up with like 50, 60 rotating cards in here as time goes on. Oh, one more thing I want to share with you. If you really like this system and you want to take it to the next level, I do this too. Again, I made it intentionally not fancy for you guys to show you to just get up and do it. There are 7 index cards here, each with the day of the week. I only created 1 week's worth of Monday through Sundays. The current week that I'm on, I always pop these in the front right there because I have all my index cards in there. I might have 10 or 15 for that week. I look at them and I say, what day am I going to call them in on? And I actually put them in their days of the week for that exact week. So I always just reuse these every week. Then I know who I'm going to call Monday, Tuesday. Don't forget, if you've got somebody in your February 1st week, don't finish out your week or don't finish out your day without talking to them first and making sure that you're keeping yourself accountable, even if it's just a chicken text to them. Make sure if they're in this that you contact them. And that's all I have. Thank you, guys. Hi, everybody. So I'm excited to share with you an electronic version of the Tickler file that Jeff and I use to keep track of our contacts. So we not only keep track of our leads, but we keep track of our brand partners, our customers, because it's all about relationships and we care about them. So we like to keep in contact with everybody. But sometimes it gets a little difficult because we're all so busy. So this is what we use. I hope you like it. So we use something called Trello. And so the first thing that you need to do is open a link. So Jeff posted the link on lifetheworld.life, and it's a boards link. So go ahead and click on that link when you're ready. I'm going to go ahead and paste it into my browser. Now this is something you can do on your computer or on your phone. On the phone it looks very similar, but I'll mention some of the differences. So go ahead and click on that link. You're going to get something like this that pops up on your computer and even on your phone that talks about this template that you just clicked on and what it's for. And it says, oh, it's about keeping track of your brand partners, customers, and leads. So on your phone and on the computer, go ahead and say, okay, I got it. And it's going to look like this. So your screen should look like this on the computer. You have the option to log in or get Trello for free. It's going to look similar to that on your cell phone, except for you're going to need to click accept all cookies. And then you can choose whether you want to view this in their nice little handy app. So I usually click go to app, install the app on your phone, and then create an account just like you would on the computer. So on the computer, I'm going to go ahead and you're going to get the Trello for free. You don't need any fancy thing to get started. It's about $100 a year. It's awesome, but you really don't need all the bells and whistles to get started out with. So I'm not going to click on Get Trello for free because I've already created a free account that I'm going to use to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and it is this one. All right, so I'm logged into my free account, and this is what it looks like. This is the template that Jeff created for you. So from this template, you're going to click Create Board from Template. I'm assuming you're going to see the same thing in on your phone. Let's see. Okay, so I better not spend the time on that. So I'm going to go ahead and create the board, and I'm going to call it Alicia's LiveWave Tickler Board. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and keep the cards and keep the template so that you can see everything. So I'm going to push create. This is what it looks like. So there's lists here. Their lists are like the columns. So there's a section called leads not contacted. So maybe on your phone, you meet somebody in the grocery store, you quickly just create their card, which I'll show you how to do. And maybe you put them under leads not contacted just to kind of put them in a holding tank. The other notable columns, and you can always create new lists and new columns for yourself. This is your board. You actually have January through December, but he moved January to the back so that his most current month is always up front. So you have February all the way December and January. So sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy. So maybe when February is over, you just literally grab the board. I'm holding down my mouse. You move it to the end. That way you don't have to like scroll through everything. So this represents the month that we're in, and here's this underneath this one, underneath this board are different sections for weeks. So I have week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is where I'm going to keep track of who I need to talk to, just like that paper tickler file. In addition to choosing which week I want to call them, I can also tag them with specific dates. So let's go ahead and go through this. So I'm going to create a new person. So I use that template card, and you just click on this and you say create card from template. And maybe this is Johnny Simon, I don't know. And under leads not contacted. So I'm just going to create a card for him, and every card is a person. So I like to keep notes. So maybe their wife's name, maybe their kids' name, and maybe their, I don't know, their health challenges, right? Like maybe they have asthma. I also use this card to take notes and to keep track of every time I talk to them, what was discussed, when it was discussed, and just those important pieces. So maybe I talked to them today, and I showed them what have you heard? Have you heard.com and scheduled another call. Okay. So you have these labels that Jeff created for you. Click show more labels to see all of them. Maybe this is a close friend. You can do as many labels as you want. And I did talk to her, and I took her or talked to him, and I took him to what have you heard? So I piqued their interest. Man, there's so many different labels. That's up to you to use whatever you want to do. All right. So did some labels. maybe she said, call me next Wednesday. So I'm going to move her into the next week section, but she also said next Wednesday. So next Wednesday is the 12th. I'm just going to click on that day. I don't have to do these cards, but if I want to go that specific, I can. All right, so here's Sally. I just talked to her. She said call her next week. I tagged it for February. I didn't, oh, sorry. It was Johnny we just talked to. And he said call him next week and call him on February 2nd. So I put him here. So what I'm doing is every single day, I'm opening up this board and I'm looking to see who in the week I need to talk to. I don't finish my day without making sure I talk to everybody who has that specific day. And I don't finish out my week without making sure that everybody's cards are out of here and moved to a different section. So maybe I tried to call Sally and she doesn't answer, or she's too busy to talk, and she says, call me next week. So I'm going to open up her card. I'm going to say 625, can't talk. Call next week. Like whatever you want, right? This is yours. Or call next month. We'll just say next month so I can show you. That's all there is to it. And I'm going to move her to, she said, call her next month. That's March. And I'm going to put her under week 1 of March 1st. Now I've got this date tag. I can choose to remove it. She didn't really say what day of the week to call her. So I can actually just remove that. And it's not sitting there as something that needs to be done that really doesn't need to be done. So basically that's all you're doing. You're creating cards. I would start out with my my current preferred customers and my current brand partners, because you've already made contacts, you have relationships with them. You definitely don't want to lose that relationship, and you want to build that relationship. So create their cards first. So put template, create card, fill them out, and stick them in a spot. When are you going to talk to them next? And then I would start adding your leads. You can use this on your app and on your computer. So as you're walking and talking to somebody, if you meet somebody in a grocery store, you can simply just add a card here or add a card from the template, create something, and you can even stick them in this holding tank and decide at another time when you're going to contact them. So if you've got a chicken list and you haven't decided to start contacting them, create a card so you don't forget and just leave them here in your holding tank. So we'll go over this in more detail as you guys find questions. But basically, that's how we use it. It will only work if you open this up every single day and really try to contact everybody on that week and get them moved to another week as you roll through them. It's all about accountability and it's all about follow through. And I tell you, if you do this every single morning, it doesn't seem like a big bite. If you haven't looked at it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and all of a sudden you open it up on Thursday and you have 15 cards, that gets to be a little overwhelming. It's a lot easier to do, 5 cards a day or 3 cards a day. So thanks so much. Talk to you guys later.
I've decided that I like the Trello organization system better for me. So you decide what's for you. And you might have even already chosen something for yourself, but it's time to be organized. And the next video I'm going to do is about prospecting. So I look forward to seeing you again.